Okay.
For a reason, that's for sure.
Okay, everybody, this is my friend Hannah, and she is going to come help us get our learn on with these NFTs. Hi, Beth. Thanks for being on.
Of course, I'm so happy to be here. So I'm going to start with just how I got involved with NFTs. And Val, I don't know if you're good with anyone opening up for questions, because that will also help so I can kind of get you guys the information you want. But just to start off on how I got involved with NFTs in the first place. So a couple of years ago, I started to look at trading, and I started with Forex, and I liked it a lot, but trading is not easy, and trading is very, it's very difficult to grasp. At least it was for me. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't, right? Anyone that's looking into trading or does, or trying to learn the skill, it's a great skill. And I'm so happy that I have it. Not that I'm the best at it, right? But starting that journey a couple of years ago into Forex took me into crypto. Then I started trading crypto. And that was a little bit easier because crypto can be a little bit more predictable. And then somehow, I don't know what, first of all, I love art. And so NFTs, the artwork really drew me to NFTs. And then I started researching what they are, what they're going to become in our society, how they're going to change our world. And it just took me by storm. Like, I just knew NFTs was it. And so I started doing some research, and it wasn't until the last year that I really went heavy into the research. And I guess it helps when you see, like Val was saying, you see all these people, these big names, these big companies, these big rappers and musicians, and people in the mainstream media, right, that are like NFTs this, NFTs that. So you're starting to like, okay, well, why are these so valuable? Why are pieces of artwork going for hundreds of thousands of dollars? And then you look into why, and it really starts to make sense. So I've had, out of all my little trading endeavors, NFTs have been my most successful. My husband is also very obsessed with NFTs and just crypto in general, and how it can free a lot of people. And yeah, so that's kind of where it all started. Does anyone have questions specifically on what NFTs even are before I go too deep?
Yeah, I think that that's something that we should just plug in right away, because we've got a lot of people within, our community that are just here for the health information, or the unplugging information from society and the system. And then there's people that are interested in just crypto. And, we started doing trading recently too. So Jason and I are, I'm like, I want to learn how to trade. And
listen, trading is so good. It's hard, but man, when you get it down, it's the biggest sense of accomplishment. Like, you've really, and it takes time, but the time is well worth it to put in for any kind of trading, whether you're trading Forex, whether you're trading crypto, whether you're trading NFTs, whatever you're trading in the space of crypto, or any kind of currency, is super well worth it. But so NFTs, you guys, non-fungible tokens. It's basically, how you can break down a $100 bill, and you can have many $100 bills that are all the same and worth the same. NFTs are not. So fungible, meaning it just cannot be broken down into parts, and there's no NFT that is exactly the same. So that makes them valuable, on top of other things, right? But that's just the bare basics on what non-fungible means. The best way I can describe it, and I was listening to Gary Vee. I don't know if you guys know Gary Vee. He's very bullish on NFTs as well. And he was talking about, and this is where it really clicks for a lot of people, and it goes hand in hand with unplugging the matrix, right? Because I'm super passionate about that as well. That's what connected me to Kim and Val. And the way the middlemen in our country kind of pull the wool over our eyes and take a lot from us, right? NFTs solve that problem. So in years from now, anything that you want to sell, trade, barter, whatever you want to do, can be verified on the blockchain as an NFT. Whether you want to go buy a house, a concert ticket, or anything you could possibly imagine, right? Can be an NFT, and it can just be a transaction between me and Val. No middlemen involved. And that's transformative. And that's kind of scary when you think about it, because there's a lot of people in power that will be like, hell no, I'm not okay with that.
Well, people
But the
don't even
blockchain,
understand what the blockchain, how that's digital gold,
yeah,
the blockchain technology is what makes cryptocurrency and things, not just crypto. Like people don't understand blockchain technology is not just cryptocurrency. It's something that, is locked in, it's coded. When you have an arrangement between A and B and it's on the blockchain, you can't change it.
change
You
it.
can't
Yeah.
erase it. Like it's there for forever. It just makes the
Yep.
security of passing from A to B legit and secure, that you're getting, you can't literally like fraud. You can't fraud a currency that's coming. I mean, there's some fake projects,
Which is why our government probably doesn't like it much, because they don't want their stuff to be aired out, right?
Yeah.
But that's why we love it so much, because we don't want that stuff to be hidden from us anymore, right? That's why it's so powerful. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because it's finally a trust system, and it's a system where us people can control it and control our transactions and have control over every piece of the pie, instead of letting it be controlled by the powerful up above us people. So
yeah,
like that's right.
The puppet masters.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the power of blockchain. And every NFT is ran through the blockchain. They have to be programmed on the blockchain in order for you to be able to buy and sell them. So each NFT has its own, well, I shouldn't say that. There are thousands and thousands of NFTs, you guys. Like there are ones that don't make it. There are ones that aren't viable. There are ones that are not, in it for the long haul, right? And that's where it comes down to the education and the utility. So you want to find NFTs that have something behind them that make it valuable, right? So I'm trying to think of some of the NFTs that I recently collected that
we call it utility. Like it's, when they refer to it as finding utility, it's like, what is it useful for? Right. I didn't have any idea what cryptocurrency was. I went on Coinbase and started doing their little 1-minute videos for certain currencies. They were paying me in that currency. And I was like, oh, that's what this does. It solves the world's problem, some kind of use case. So it's not just like when I first looked at it, I'm like, why did that digitized picture that doesn't, it's all pixelated, why did that sell for $200,000?
Yeah. And it all comes down to the utility. And NFTs have kind of shifted. When I first started looking at them, it was all about the artwork, right? Like you hear these stories of this 13-year-old girl. She created the NFT collection called Long Necky Ladies. She was 12 or 13. She made over $7 million from her collection, and she just made really cool artwork. Okay. She had a good story behind it. She was a young girl. She posted her collection on OpenSea, which is an NFT marketplace for those who don't know, and made millions of dollars. Okay. It's now less about the artwork. Some of the most expensive NFTs that I own are just a ticket. Like it's just a ticket. It earns me passive income, and that's why it's valuable. But it's just a ticket. There's no artwork to it, but it's the most expensive NFT I currently hold because of what it earns me. So anyone that gets into this space, I always recommend, when you do your research, to find the utility behind a project, because that's what's going to make it so successful. And obviously the hype and the attention it gets, the more successful it will become. But that's not always the case. I've seen NFTs stay at like $200-$300 for months, and now they're $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. So because this space is so new, and thousands of people are entering this space every day, and that's the benefit of getting in early, because you can really grab a hold of some of these gems and these amazing projects before anyone else sees the value of them. And then when more people get in, it's like, whoa, how did this just become a $56,000, $60,000, $70,000 overnight?
Yeah. And you're legit looking at it like, why, when they talked about Twitter, he sold his first tweet as an NFT.
Yep.
There's so many people within the space that are just finding some kind of collectible. People collect cars, and they collect little Lego sets, and they collect stamps and coins,
Little
and those are fungible.
Figurines, like anything. It's just collectible. Yeah.
So is that value? Do you find when you're doing, because like with cryptocurrency or the stock market, there's a flood of things and you just don't know about all the things. When you're doing your research, do you find that you go to Twitter, like, and read into the Twitter space and what the people are saying in the comments, and they're following there and kind of lead you from as part of
that's
research?
that's really, and, it's funny because I never use Twitter.
Yeah,
Like I
right,
never,
exactly.
Twitter is just completely dedicated to NFTs for me and NFT research. There's a couple tools that I use to find, volume statistics on how the volume is increasing on certain projects live. So you can kind of see which ones are grabbing the community's attention, and you might want to look at that one. Twitter is really good because you're going to get a lot of honest feedback.
Yeah.
So, and that's where you'll be able to track the traffic and see how many people are interested in it. And you'll be able to get to know the team there. Knowing the team behind a project is super important, because as crypto is as amazing as it is, it's not regulated. So you're going to have people that are going to pull the wool over people's eyes. And if you're not educated in this space, it's really easy to fall prey to that. That's why it's so important to do it with a community, I believe, because they can protect you from a lot of that stuff. Because it's easy for beginners to fall prey to that, because these people that are screwing people over are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And even some of the best
with the coins.
Yeah.
It's like the meme coins. Everybody's like, oh, this one's going to the moon. And when I first got started, I was wanting to ride the moon. I was like, oh man, they just made a whole bunch of money overnight. But it's the people that get into the projects ahead of time. They're on the white list. They're in there before, any of the pennies, you have 12 zeros on it, and they're getting in on the 12 zero. By the time it reaches the hype and you're buying it, it's already on its way up, and you're like, let me buy it. And then the next day it crashes down. And it's because
that's the benefit of learning how to trade too, Val. And I think a lot of mine comes back to those core values, because even on maybe I should share my screen for this one, because this will be good to go over. Do you mind if I do that?
No, you should be good. You should be able to. It should be set already.
Okay, can you guys see me?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll show you guys one I was actually just looking at. You guys can, well, this one's not that good. Let me show you. It all comes, essentially NFTs are, you're investing and collecting, but you're also trading, right? You kind of make buckets for what you're wanting to do. So when you look at the charts of a trading chart, you want to see when you want to buy in, right? And so you can kind of see the volume over time and how you have these dips, right? So someone wouldn't want to buy in up here. I would want to sell right there. Same thing in any other, whether you're buying a coin, whether you're trading a pair on Forex, whether you're trading a pair on crypto, whatever, you want to look at the charts and analyze the best time to get into a buy opportunity, right? And so these charts really help with that. I'll show another one that is a good example of that, because it's actually one that I own. I wanted to get into, I found this project when it was right here. Okay. Right. And if I would have bought then, I would have paid $700 for this NFT. If I would have waited now, because it's all healthy to have those movements, right? It's a market. You want it to have movement. You want it to be healthy. You don't want it to just go straight up all the time. So these kind of movements are good to see, but now I can get one for $300.
Nice.
So these are things that you kind of want to pay attention to, and it all goes back to those trading fundamentals. So, and if anyone is open, like if anyone is wanting to just see some of these top trending products, this is kind of how I research NFTs and how I learned how to do that from my mentorship. But if you go to OpenSea.io, it's a marketplace, one of the biggest, if not the biggest marketplace for NFTs right now, all built on the Ethereum blockchain. You can kind of see these top trending products, I keep calling them products today, projects. If anyone, as soon as you start to research NFTs, you'll see CryptoPunks, because they're one of the most famous.
They've been around for almost 5 years. People didn't even know what an NFT was.
Yep. These are up 187% today.
And people wonder, are people really buying these? Yes.
Yeah, so
all
this
day
is, I'm so happy
long.
you just said that. Okay, so another big famous NFT project was Bored Ape Yacht Club. And these are absolutely insane. And the floor price, meaning the cheapest one you can find, is 92 Ethereum. And remember, people bought these at like 0.07, 0.08 Ethereum. And people are always like, oh, here's a really healthy chart. Look at that too. And that's just like a beautiful, consistent chart.
Yeah.
But you can see this one just sold 2 hours ago for 105 Ethereum. And you guys, it's insane. And I like to tell people too, because I talk to a lot of people and they'll see some of my quick flips, or they'll see quick flips in social media and they'll say, I'm ready for a quick flip. I like need a quick flip right now. What people don't understand is quick flips come to people that understand the space. Quick flips come to people that know what a good NFT is, and they stay connected to it, and they find it before it gets to that price. Or even, I mean, that's an extravagant price, but even a 1 to 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6 plus ETH project that somebody bought for $200 to $300, it came to them and they found it because they're connected to the space. So,
and being patient
right,
is a big thing.
huge.
I think the hardest thing for me to relay to people is take your emotions out of it. You know, like you have to not be emotionally connected to it. And we're all in that rush, you know, it's exhilarating. You're like, oh my God, I'm about to make money. You know, we just got into the mint for the White Sands parcel pass.
Yeah.
And just knowing, because we got on the white list, there was only 3,000 opportunities for people to get this token, you know, or NFT, you know, in the space. Yeah. So you get your own, and it's in the metaverse. And, you know, a lot of people like myself in first scoop of it was like, yeah, oh, wait, what's that going to do? It's the metaverse. You know, there's so many contradictory things, but what it offers, you know, I have some other NFTs that I bought that have a utility that, and then as being on the whitelist and being one of the first, I was able to get a couple of metaverse apartments that came part of it that don't go with the sale. I get to keep that, you know, so it's an incentive. And getting into their Twitter and watching the community, just, you know, I'm in Twitter and I'm in Telegram and I'm in Discord when I'm doing research, and not just spending my time on OpenSea, because OpenSea does not tell a story. It tells just you know, numbers, a piece of it, you know. So being on Discord and really finding out what other people are saying about it. What is the community about? How many people are there? People asking the same questions in the chat over and over that you can see the developers are not answering it. That's a bad sign. You know, when you 100%. You have to read the community and see what's going on over there. And when I was doing that and got into my first NFT, it was like, all right, it's going to mint at 9 o'clock. I'm driving. Jason's like, do you want to pull over? I know it's important. Oh, it's so fun. I'm like, we're sitting there eating, and I'm like, oh my God, my phone's about to die, babe. And I couldn't even use his phone.
I know. I love
wallets were on my phone, and I'm literally, I was like, I just need to hit it. I hit it, and my phone died. I'm like, I got it.
It's so much fun, and it's such, the community around NFTs in general are really cool. And Val is right. The community and the meet the team part of an NFT collection is between Discord and Twitter. Your numbers, once it launches, are through OpenSea. That's like, those are the two things that I spend a lot of time on, just to track and say, okay, is the community doing what they said they're going to do based on the numbers here? You just have to kind of weigh. There's an art to it, but it's a lot of fun, and it's. When you think about where it's going, you see the reason why you want to get into the space early, because understanding this stuff can truly set you free, for sure.
Well, I know that, I don't know how many times I was in your inbox because I was seeing things that were going through your profile and your story, and I'm like, I really wish I had time for this, you know, because we have our hands on a lot of different
I get it.
Always building passive income opportunities. We love to share with our community. So vetting these things and being involved, it's not just a 2-day thing. When I tell somebody, yeah, I'm looking at this bot, and they're like, oh, send me the info. I'm like, hold on, I got to check it out first. I would like to put something in it myself so I can get some feedback. And with the NFTs, I personally was just interested for myself. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this to anybody, but the research that I put into all the things, whether I'm trying to learn about what to feed my animals or what to grow in my garden, there's investment of my time goes into my knowledge, and I'm really interested in the NFTs. And then you're like, well, let me put you in this group, this mastermind, and finding that there was somebody that was going to help me, not just somebody, but like a whole community of people that are doing the research and bringing vetted projects, because other developers in the space know the quality of the people within our mastermind. Like, hey, I want to lock arms with you. And I'm like, all right, and then I'm telling Kim, and we were kind of hesitant at first, like I say, because we thought of the metaverse stigma, that it is, and NFTs are not the metaverse. But the NFTs are just
metaverse is going to be run fully on NFTs, but not every NFT is in the metaverse.
Right.
So like anyone that is like, hey, I'm not down with the whole metaverse situation yet, that's totally fine. Like that is, and there's many, if not most NFTs at this point that are not involved in the metaverse. The metaverse is just going to be ran off NFTs. Like you can't have the metaverse without NFTs, but they're not always colliding. So,
and one thing I think too, for some people that are watching that still may not grasp what an NFT is, but maybe they understand their video games and how, if you ever had to buy a skin, if your kids play video games, there's these extra skins and you're like, I only have that skin. These are types of things that developers, and not just the play to earn, or these games, now they're play to earn games. And you can literally play these video games and earn things free, or get a coin, a token that you can just spend in that game. And then the skin is now an NFT, and you own that. And it's not just that you can, oh, well, I just copy pasted that picture and now I own it too. It's not like that, because it's on the blockchain. So that kind of the understanding of NFTs can be a lot of different things. Like
soon they'll be, they already are, but soon they'll be domain names. And they wait until you see what musicians do with NFTs. That's going to be really exciting, because they can cut out the label, and they can make, a lot of times, a lot of musicians, especially starting ones, they get signed to a label and they get a lot of taken away from them, because they'll be taken advantage of. NFTs solve that problem. It solves so many problems. Yes, it is so powerful, and it's just the beginning. And my biggest piece of advice ever for everyone I ever talked to, because I went through this myself, is don't try to go at this stuff alone. Because right now it's like the wild, wild west, and you can make a lot of money that way. So my mentor told me you can make a lot of money that way, because it is like the wild, wild west, but you don't want to go at this stuff alone.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing that I was taking from it, by being in the, being in the group and seeing the community there, and then realizing some of these things are being shared in the group, but what else is in that mastermind? This is just kind of this little bit of free education as a community, where we can all come together and feel better and safe, but it's still, you have to do your own research until you lock arms with somebody that's doing the work, doing the research, and is vetting these projects, putting their whole, I just call it an NFT career, basically.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Like our mentor.
Don't do anything else. Some of these, I run into Discords and I see the same people over and over again. I'm like, how did you get into this project too? And they don't leave. Like, these people are so honed in, and I love it, because they're really successful with it. And it's inspiring for sure.
Well, when I first started hearing about them was from Gary Vee, in a different fashion than what I had been in my crypto space, just knowing about the crypto punks or something, that was the kind of the art. And then I started listening to Gary. And when I first met Gary years ago, I've seen him live. I just love him. I love his
I do too.
Great. So he started talking, and started hyping up these NFTs. He's been talking about them for years, and people didn't know. Gary's been talking about things like crazy. And then it's like, okay, what was it, like May 5th or something last year? Like, be ready. You got to have 1 ETH in your wallet. I'm like, what's he going to do? But when I first saw Gary was on Instagram one Saturday morning, he was running live on Instagram. He was at garage sales, and he was over there, buying up things. And then he would get in his car and he would look it up and see what the value was. He's like, I just bought this Care Bear, and it's, I got it for $2 and it's going for 20 bucks. And I've been flipping things
Me
for
too.
years online.
I love
So
it. Yeah.
when I started realizing what the NFT space could be in terms of flipping them, finding them and flipping them, it's a different game, guys, on what we're used to when we buy a crypto token and we love the project and we watch it go up and down and we're holders and we're like, okay, well, you can't help but in crypto to have to think long term with it because it goes down and you're like, oh shit, all right, I guess it's going to go back up. But with the NFTs, they go up and down too, but the long term value may not always be there, but that flip value, like, let me just flip it real fast, but not all of them should be flip fast.
Right. And I've struggled because I've been trying to put mine in different buckets, right? I've struggled because people get connected to these NFT projects, you guys, and they want to hold them, right? And that's not a bad thing, but it's also not a bad thing to flip. Like when you're first starting out, like I've learned that I have to train myself to be more of a flipper because I'm more of a hodler, so to speak, right? Like I want to hold these close. I don't want to let them go because I fear that they're going to go to 10, 20, 40 ETH, right? But it's okay. Like number one, you never go broke taking profit. Number two, everything you do is a lesson learned, and you could make the right decision, right? It becomes the science tracking the community and figuring out where the roadmaps are going. But when you first start out, what I've learned is flipping is totally okay. And there are certain projects that are meant to be. My very first flip within this mastermind group, I bought an NFT for $226, and 2 days later, I flipped it for $1,800. And I'm so glad that I did because now it's still kind of staying stagnant, right? Like you kind of want to get the hype of that mint, and anyone who didn't get one is looking on the secondary market, and then you're like, "Yep, I'll sell it to you." And it just, I've learned that that's a good strategy. So.
Well, what do you think, like for the ones that you have, within our mastermind, our mentor has he's just setting us up for wins like crazy. And so he's got a project, it's called NFT Worlds. If you're familiar with the sandbox, if you want to just kind of touch on what that is and how it links to passive income as well.
Yep. So NFT Worlds is hosted on Minecraft. And I regret almost every day that I didn't get one at $4,000 when I first saw them, because now they're $20,000, $30,000 a piece. These are those NFTs that stayed around $200 to $300 for a long while. And what these NFTs come with, number one, they have a phenomenal team behind them. It's a brilliant project. And if you guys have any familiarity with Decentraland or Sandbox, Mana is the coin. Or Sand, if you're more into just buying the cryptos, right? Those are kind of leading metaverses in the space, and NFT Worlds is going to blow them out of the park. And just like a tip for anyone that's more of a coin buyer, NFT World coin is a good one that I'm looking at. Not financial advice, of course, but it's a good one. Yeah, thanks for pulling that up, Val. It's a good one to look into. So all of these worlds, based on their rarity, pay airdrops and NFT World tokens to your wallet if you're an owner of them. And a lot of NFT projects, the developers own some of these worlds, and they build NFT projects on top of it. And so that's like the one we recently just got into with the beautiful it's called White Sands Island. And we all just minted a little piece of land with a beautiful white house on it. And it's all built on one of these NFT worlds. And so, yep. So, and they're actually still pretty affordable if anyone wants to grab one. So, those are our little houses right there.
See these little houses So like these little houses, you can, there's other things within the project that you can go in and let me go back over here. I'm on the wrong browser for my history because Facebook streamed me over here.
Yeah, if you click on that, if you scroll up, Val, and you click on the link, that will take them to go to White Sands Parcel Pass.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, and then go.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, right there, White Sands Game. Yeah, so you guys can see even owning one of these will be able to earn you NFT World tokens every month as well. But just kind of imagine the picture really quick. And this is just a part of what's on this world. Okay. The rest would completely blow your mind. And the organizer and leader of the mastermind group that Val and I are in, this is actually his project. He owns quite a lot of these worlds, definitely a visionary, and found this stuff well before a lot of people saw the value in them. And because Minecraft is open source, we, by owning these, have complete creative control over the parcel of land that we have. So any gamers or anybody that has kids that are gamers, you guys can literally go on and build whatever you want within your parcel of land. And if you look comparatively,
What in the heck?
that's what I should show. I can take over, Val, if you want me to, because I just had something pop into my mind before I let you guys go that I want to show in comparison to
I don't know why this page is open. You want to try to open it up on your side?
yeah, I will.
Oh, there it goes. As soon as I click stop share.
You want me to still open it up on my end?
Oh no, I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you see it now?
Yeah, incredible. Like these are all NFTs. They have not been minted yet or purchased yet. And these are actually on the same world, NFT world, that our little parcels were minted as well. So just imagine who is going to own these villas, who's going to end up getting them. There's only 250 of them. And it's a beautiful community that you can have literally your own ecosystem. I mean, people they're going to have boats. They're going to have all different fun stuff that you can literally go inside and communicate with other people that are a part of this game, right? Essentially, the metaverse is a game, but look how intense and beautiful and realistic this really is.
And there's going to be
really impressive.
Being able to go and meet with other people within the metaverse, having appointments, doing your banking, going to a comedy show, like all of the things. You may not want to put the goggles on or the mask on, whatever you want to call it, and get into that particular lifestyle. But if you have a parcel like this and you build a house, somebody wants it, somebody will buy it, somebody will rent it. It's virtual digital real estate. It's real. It's weird to embrace that concept, but it's here. And it is.
Well, you have to think too, like, when you think about the progression of the internet, right? The internet started off as Web 0.0, Web 2.0, which is kind of where we sit today. And what you're seeing on the computer screen right now and how interactive the next point of the internet will be is the metaverse, Web 3.0. They're synonymous. Like Web 3.0 is metaverse. And at some point, number one, the earning possibilities of getting in early are immense and unmatched. But it is, it's scary to think, right? And it's very unknown, but that was the same attitude people had whenever the internet came out. People were scared. I can't put my credit card information online. I can't log into this website. They're going to hack all my stuff. And people were freaking out.
They still do.
I know, right? And the people that accepted and adopted and learned the space and were in it and committed to it for the long haul really did make a huge impact in their lives and the lives around them. And so it's the metaverse is a whole different conversation. Maybe we could do another call about that someday, because I'm also actively learning about that too, and kind of how those and NFTs collide. I'm super interested in it. But like Val said, let's say you're not convinced on that front yet. You're like, metaverse, putting those goggles on, it's not for me. Other people are. So by you owning things like that, you are attracting people to look at your stuff that are super big into that world, especially kids these days, because a lot of kids are big into gaming. And when you think about the next generation to take over our stuff, NFTs and gaming and metaverse stuff is going to be big. So
I had a couple questions here. Yeah. I had Jason had mentioned, Eminem. Everybody knows Eminem. Eminem was selling his beats, as NFTs. Tom McDonald, I believe, paid $100,000 for one of Eminem's beats, and okay, it's Eminem's, but now it's mine. So he has the rights, that is his, even though he bought it
Correct.
somewhere else, so it's digital gold, it's digital real estate. People talk about Bitcoin being digital gold. It just depends on where you're showing up in the space and how you want to utilize it. And I think that NFTs are bringing something so much bigger than just these token projects, that that are really manipulated by the banks and the whole system of that.
Yeah. The big benefit of NFTs is where it's going and how everything will become an NFT.
Yeah.
Like everything we buy now will be an NFT. An NFT. And so that's really
even cool. In shoes, they're putting things with your shoes to where your shoe, like Nike, I think maybe it is, where it comes with a barcode and it's scanned, it's on the blockchain. That means you have the only pair. Now you have a non-fungible token that you can wear.
Well, think about even a concert ticket. Think about a concert ticket where we buy $200 to $300 tickets to go to a concert and then we throw it away because it's like, okay, now it's not worth anything. Okay, well now, what if it's the one ticket to every concert for this specific artist, and the next time you want to sell the ticket, when next time there's a concert and you already went and you don't want that ticket anymore, you can sell it to someone else. The owner and the creator and the artist is great with that because they get the royalties from every sale. So it's like, okay, now I'm starting to see if I hold this ticket, I'm not throwing it away at the end of the concert and throwing it on the street. I actually can have it and sell it to someone else for the next concert.
There and the bigger names that are coming into play, like the NFL and those people that are always loud as celebrities, they're in your face. They're bringing a lot of emotion in from people that are following them. There's people, they just love Hollywood, they love people and everything that they're bringing in. So they're capitalizing big time on using their brands to create some kind of community, so it's just so big. And I feel like the Mastermind has totally given me an open door platform to go in and truly learn all the ins and outs at my own pace. But while I'm trying to do that, I also have the information of somebody kind of spoon feeding me, like, well, while you're figuring that out, here's a really good one that, is already
right.
Not literally 5 minutes on doing my own research, but I cut it down so much where I'm not like a week looking at a project and like, oh, yep.
Definitely helps for the beginner as well. Like for someone who knows nothing, like that's a good place to start.
So I have another question here.
Go ahead.
So he had asked, what are some key things to pay attention to when looking for a good NFT project to buy into? I think we discussed that with utility and stuff. What are the good sources to find the projects early?
Twitter is huge. Twitter. And then what I do is when I find the hype on Twitter, I'll go into their website and I'll read their roadmap, and then I'll go into their Discord and I'll check out the community.
And I did post in the group, guys, just for those of you that are in mentorship with us, there is a really good resource that I've put in on how to, I've got the whole PDF in there on how to research the token projects, but I also have one in there for the NFT. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out, because you can literally check the boxes, give yourself some kind of criteria to follow along with. But like we said, it's best to not do it on your own. And even though you're trying to follow the check marks and stuff on there, and you can go in, we can all be had, when these projects, because like she said, they do a good job. People that are out to get people, they do a good job. So it's best to just look, follow the trail, see what it is, see what the community is, check on their Telegram, be cautious of Telegram, be cautious of Twitter, be cautious of Discord, because those scammers are not only creating projects, but they're also in your inbox saying, hey, we're about to do a whitelist real quick. We would love, have you checked it out?
That's so important.
And you're like, oh my God, I want to get on a whitelist. And then all of a sudden you're on this whitelist over here, and they play it out and play it out and play it out, and you get on there and you're like, well, this was a dud. But everybody,
just like you have your trading rules that I'm sure you guys go over, super important to have your NFT trading rules too.
Yeah.
And your safety measures and all that stuff too. I'd be happy to lend my safety measures and send it to you as well, just for anyone that gets into it. But like I said, the biggest piece of advice is to not go at this stuff alone. You guys, that's why you do it with a community, and people that are successful get together and do it together. So
That's where we're at. That's why we're here. You know, we're all in this space to change our lives. And I know with you, Hannah, if you just tell us a little, you're a mom, you're married, you have a home life now that your husband was able to be home with you, and it's from this space.
It's absolutely life changing. And I believe that the people that get in now as early adopters are going to see a huge, massive change in their life if they dedicate the time and they get into the right community and take their extra spare time to study and just look into this stuff and collaborate with people that are in it as well. It's a game changer for sure.
It doesn't have to be as scary either as we all step into the space and we let fear fuel us. And it's like, well, I mean, in our mentorship, we've got fundamentals. What is a wallet? What are these things? And a lot of people, am I going to be overwhelmed, or where can I go? What can I do? And it's all a matter of stepping in and taking the fundamental steps to learn it. But don't feel like you have to learn it all. That's what I thought at first. I needed to learn it before I got involved. And that's not why we're here. We're in mentorship. We're doing a community together. We're sharing everybody, all the basics. So learn as you go, but also participate and take action, reap those rewards. I love what you said earlier was, you can never go broke taking profits. And a lot of people do that holding, and they go, oh my God, it went up and it went down, and now I want to hold it forever. And, it's just a matter of flipping and getting your feet wet, really.
Yeah. And you can always take it at your own pace, and you can always find NFTs that fit your budget to start with and just slow grow that money. If that's where you're at, if you just want to kind of dip your feet in and just take things at your own pace, like it's truly a place for everyone, and it's your own personal journey. And so it's really up to you on how fast or slow you want to take things. And it will fit everyone's strategy from that front too. So.
Well, I think too, one of the things that I just want to touch on, and then we can wrap up here, is in the space, and you're buying into a project and getting a token. We'll just use like Bitcoin, Ethereum, because people are familiar with it, XRP. Those are projects that have a use case, around the world as a currency. It's cryptocurrency. NFTs has its own space. And then there's also the DeFi space, which is, just blowing up. And for us in our community, we utilize all the things, and we take profits from all the things, and we diversify into these other projects. So like us in Drip, Kimberly and I have been in Drip since December the 3rd. It makes us money every single day, no matter what's going on with the market. It does not matter.
Project,
and we're able to take that money. Now, I only came out of pocket, that initial $300, but I have earned thousands of dollars just from that, and putting it into these projects, and then taking it out and putting it into a bot that's trading for me automatically, and putting it into, an NFT that I'm able to flip, or another project that's going up that I sold at the top, so it's finding your way and ways of taking money from here and diversifying it and diversifying it and staying with the decentralized lifestyle is
that's the most important.
Freedom. It is freedom. All right. So we'll get you to send that over, and we'll share it with everybody. Anybody else that wants to know more about the Mastermind, get with us. We'll definitely get you out. Hey, Zach.
Okay. Dogs are crazy. Okay. Perfect timing.
All right.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.